Welcome to the Shipping Podcast, where you meet interesting maritime professionals sharing their passion for the shipping industry and their everyday job. I am your host. My name is Lena Gothberg. Hello and welcome to the Shipping Podcast. It's the 20th episode, and today you're going to meet Sanjam Gupta. She's the director of Sitara Shipping in India. And she's also a member of the WISTA International Executive Committee, with the responsibility to develop Middle East, Asia and Pacific. It's a big task, but I'm sure that Sanjam will be able to lift it. Unfortunately, it's not only me and Sanjam who is on this episode. There is also a muezzin calling for prayer from the minaret in Istanbul. I'm so sorry you have to listen to that, but I didn't realize it at the moment, and in hindsight, I want you to hear what Sanjam is talking about during the same time as this muezzin is singing for prayer over the rooftops in Istanbul. WISTA India is one of the youngest national WISTA associations within the international umbrella organization. Sanjam was the founder. She started in December 2012, and she's already moved on to the International Executive Committee, the board. With the energy and the enthusiasm that Sanjam is showing, I think she's a good representative for the younger ladies within the shipping business. Without further ado, this is Sanjam Gupta. Sanjam, welcome to the Shipping Podcast. Who are you?
Thank you, Lena, for inviting me. I am Sanjam Gupta. I'm the second generation in family business. My father was a master mariner, and he instilled the love of the sea in me since I was a little girl. And when I was all of 5, I told my parents that I want to work in the shipping industry. And of course they laughed and they thought it was very sweet. But surprisingly, that childhood dream has stayed with me, and I'm very passionate about shipping, about the sea, and nothing's changed for me over the years. I've been lucky to have been given the opportunity to work with my father. He's a veteran, and he's done almost everything in the industry, and he's given me enough freedom to find my own way, make my own mistakes, and take the company forward.
So where are you? You are from India, but whereabouts in India?
I was born in Delhi, but I have been brought up in Mumbai. I'm originally from Punjab. That's where my parents are from. But I've been brought up in Mumbai. And of course, Mumbai is the commercial capital of India.
And your company is Sitara Shipping?
Yes, my company is Sitara Shipping Limited.
What do you do?
So we are an Indian NBOCC. We are the first multimodal transport operators in India. The first company to issue our own multimodal transport document. We're also into freight forwarding and chartering as well. We have a lot of firsts to our credit. First company to import containers ex-bond. Yeah.
Sitara Shipping.
So Sitara Shipping was my dad's third company. So his earlier 2 companies were with his brothers, and then this is his first independent company. We've got a lot of firsts to our credit. First Indian company to import containers ex-bond. The first multimodal transport document issued from our office. We're the only Indian company to have executed a project for the US Army from the naval base in Diego Garcia. And my father always, being a master mariner, he has the love of the sea. And typical in India, he would be asked that, how many sons do you have to take the business forward? And he would proudly tell them, I have 2 daughters who are equal to 11 sons.
Oh, I see. How wonderful. So what do you do in your everyday job? What's your responsibility?
My responsibility in my daily job is I am managing my customers for my container line. We specialize in the niche market of over-dimensional cargo that typically moves by the open tops, the flat racks, and also some of it by bulk. So I manage the customers for this cargo, and I'm also doing a little bit of business development and liaising with agents.
So how many employees are there in your company?
We have 25. We're a small company. We have around 25 people. We're present in Mumbai, and we have agents all over India.
So do you have any education? Did you do some training? Or?
Yes. So after I did my commerce graduation in commerce, I did my MBA, the Family Managed Business Program from SPJN Institute of Management and Research. And along with that, I did my 2-year diploma in shipping management.
So it's all been shipping for you?
I have been very focused. I'm usually like that. I have been very clear on what I wanted to do with life. People get confused, but I have been pretty clear on what I would want to do with my career.
So your sister is younger than you are or older?
She's older than I am.
Okay. And what is her responsibility?
So she is also handling her sets of clients, and she's also heading the freight forwarding part of the business. And my father has his team for the chartering. So I primarily look after our container line. So that's where we have 3 different divisions.
So you don't run in the way of each other then, so you have your own?
Not so much. Yes.
That's good, maybe.
And I must tell you that my mother is very active in the business as well. It's a complete family business, and she looks after the finance.
That's interesting. It's always it's interesting to talk to people working with a family business, and it differs, I think, if you compare to the large shipping lines and so on.
It does. I think there are pros and cons, but then in each business there would be. I think the pros are that you have a very supportive network, and there's a lot of communication both ways, and you agree, you disagree, but at the end of the day, it's family, and they will respect you, but they will also differ from you. I think the cons is that you're together all the time and in the office and in the home, so it gets a bit much. So we try to segregate the work and the home part of it.
I also know that you have got a little boy, a son.
Yes, my son's all of 8, and he's been brought up A for anchor and B for ballast and C for charter party. So I'd like to say he's been a shipping baby.
Okay, so he knows his future.
He does, because my husband, coincidentally, is CFO of Sitara Shipping. So it's all in the family.
Yeah, sounds like it. So how do you see the future for shipping in general?
The last 1 year has been challenging. But when I entered the industry, and that was way back in 2001, we were going through a challenging time even then. So because I've seen the industry at a very challenging time, the last 1.5 years haven't fazed me a lot. It has been worrying that the markets are not so good, but I do foresee that, and I do positively hope that the next year would be better.
Also, you are the founder of WISTA in India?
Yes.
How come? How did you get in contact with WISTA?
Okay, so this is one of my favorite stories, and I think I've told it a lot, but I will tell you. So way back, I started working in 2001, and I would get a lot of, reactions from people who would assume that you are a secretary or somebody working in a lower position and would not take you seriously. And after attending a shipping seminar one day, where there were only gentlemen present, and even the speaker addressed the gathering as, "Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good evening, gentlemen." And somewhere I was sitting in a corner. I said, "Hello, there's a lady in the audience." It was a disappointing experience, and I came back to the office and I Googled women in shipping, and voila, there it was, the WISTA website. And that's exactly how it happened. In 2002, we had 2 women heading the various port authorities in Mumbai. The chairman of the Mumbai Port Trust and the chairperson of the Navashila Port Trust, both were women. I went to both of them. I spoke to them about WISTA, but we did not have a good response from the other ladies of the industry. So that took a backseat. I was very young. I was also not able to push it forward. Fast forward to 2012, my little boy had grown up. I was a little free, and I said to myself, I think now is the time. And it was the right time, because it took off, boom, like that. And we launched in the December of 2012.
And how many members are you now?
We're around 85 members right now.
God. That took 20 years for some people, and you do it in a year and a half, something like that.
Yes, I think the response has been phenomenal. And I also think the timing was right. We were ready for having a WISTA. Maybe 10 years back, we were not. But I think I didn't even know there were so many women in India in shipping, so many wonderful women. And because of that, I have made some wonderful friends. I have been inspired by these wonderful stories, and I'm lucky today that I know so many women in Indian shipping. And I hope that their stories would inspire us to have so many more to come.
So are the members all over India or in Mumbai?
The majority is in Mumbai, but we have 5 sub-chapters, Mumbai being the main one, New Delhi, Chennai being our second biggest chapter, in Mundra, in Gujarat, and also in Cochin.
Good. So if anyone is interested, they can just contact you. And
Absolutely, and we want to set up more sub-chapters all over India.
I ask this question to every guest I have. How do you think that the shipping industry would be less invisible to the general public?
I think it's the awareness. Like WISTA UK did a public awareness campaign, and that was very inspiring, but each country would have to adapt their own. But I think the general awareness would start with the younger generation when they're in schools. And I think that's where we need to go out there and speak to children in schools and colleges and make them aware of the important role shipping plays. It also depends on the government how they support us in this endeavor, but if they do not, I think the industry needs to be united, come together. We have been speaking to a lot of shipping associations in India on how we can come together and promote shipping. We've come up with a lot of ideas, which I'm not sure how well we can execute, but there are ideas from promoting it in schools with books. They're in children's career fairs. There's also a place called Kidzania, and there they have, it's kind of play acting for children, and children can pretend to be a pilot, they can pretend to be a baker, and we were thinking, there is nothing to do with ships. Why do we not have a place where children can go and pretend to be a captain on a vessel? That's one idea, and we also thought by maybe television. We had a few years back a televised serial about a lady who becomes a police officer. And after that, the interest in shipping as a career really went up, and people became aware about the police as a career for women, and even generally as a career. It took off. So we were thinking that maybe using the medium of television, of books, and these unique experiences with children, we could promote it.
Good ideas worth spreading. Who would you be interested in listening to if you were listening to a podcast called Shipping Podcast? Who would that be?
I'm very inspired by Katrina Stenzel. She has been somebody I really look up to. I had the opportunity to meet her in Montreal, and she was sitting next to me at one of the dinners, and I was so inspired hearing her story. So I think her, and of course our president, Karen Orsup.
I can promise you Karen Orsup, because I did that earlier today. Katarina Stenzel from Intertanker, you're not the first one who wants to listen to her, so I have to persuade her to come onto the podcast. Do you have anything you want to add that we haven't touched upon?
I would just want to say that we would want more young people to enter this industry, and it's a pity that we're so invisible because we're such an important industry. And we tend to preach to the already converted. We tend to preach within our industry, which is not really required. We have to go out there. And it's surprising that despite our industry being so widely spread, we have not been united so far. And I would wish that all the associations come together in a united effort, in a global effort to promote the industry to everybody.
Because we are generous and we want to share all the bugs that we have, the shipping bug. We want to share it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with you. Thank you very much, Sanjam, for taking the time to speak to me.
Thank you, Lena. It was a pleasure. It's an honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope you realize that this is a milestone for me. I have produced 20 episodes of the Shipping Podcast. When I attended the podcasting school for women during the summer, the 2 teachers told us all that just start producing. You will hate the first 20 episodes anyhow, once you go back and listen to them. I don't hate my 20 episodes. I love them. I'm so grateful to all the guests who are appearing on the Shipping Podcast, and I'm learning as I go along. During these 20 episodes, some catastrophes has happened. I have forgotten to turn on the mic. I haven't realized that the battery is flat. And I have learned everything about air conditioning, rain, and now also the muezzin. In a way, I think sitting down, meeting guests, and having a conversation is a better way for me to find out all the answers that I am looking for, instead of asking people to come to a studio. But that means that my listeners have to bear with me until I learn to have the best sound of everyone in the podcasting world. I'm not asking for much. I'm just asking you to go into iTunes and make a review what you think about the podcast and the content. It helps me to become a better podcaster, and it also helps me to start climbing the top 10 lists. I got 2 more ladies coming up in the next 2 episodes. Thank you for listening to the Shipping Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, and hey, you can always tell your friends about it.